tryna say I'm only in the me. Got a cold with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen.
Welcome in, everybody, to the show that loves our European centers like no other. And in this series, we're going to be talking about the Clippers versus Nuggets, Zubac, and Nikola Jokic. JJ, this is honestly one of the series I'm most excited for. How about
This
you?
is probably going to be my favorite series right here. Just
Oh, yeah.
Clippers have been red hot, and then the Nuggets, Jokic is going to be Jokic. I want to see what he could do with this weaker bench that they have.
Worth noting, too, new coach for the Nuggets. Surprisingly fired their finals winning coach, what it was 2 seasons ago. Mike Malone, 4 games before the playoffs, doing that as the 3 seed or 4 seed. I mean, there's just drama in the air in this one. And to top it all off, we get playoff James Harden. And I don't mean that in a good way. So there's just so many layers to this series that I'm so excited to watch. The first one, I started off the show with it. We can start it off as the first topic. Is this Zubac versus Jokic matchup? Because while Jokic is obviously better than Zubac, in terms of one-to-one defending like center defending Jokic, Zubac might be the best equipped one in the NBA to do it. He's strong. He moves well. Like, I don't know how much the Clippers are going to need to send help off him. I think they're going to let him play against Jokic. Is Jokic probably going to go for 40? Yeah, but the big question is going to be whether the Nuggets win or not how many points Jokic scores. So how much of a edge do you give to Jokic, or do you think it's enough where the Nuggets are going to say, okay, we can lean on Jokic just scoring a shit ton and take this series? Or do you think Jokic can really hold his own here?
Honestly, I think that's going to be part of the Clippers' game plan is forcing Jokic to score. When you can't get others, when Jokic can't get others involved, it makes it real difficult for them to win. But you can definitely beat the Nuggets while just allowing Jokic to score. And then defending it over there, you got Chris Dunn on Jamal Murray, and he's been that primary defender all season long versus him. He's only taken 4 field goal attempts versus him. That's not good as the primary defender. So if you lock him down, you let Jokic score, who else is really going to step up and score here?
Chris Dunn has quietly been a huge problem this year. He's not been the guy where it says, hey, he's defending you, you're erased from the game. But he will always have an impact on the game on that side of the ball. And Jamal Murray's right on that teetering edge where he's a good enough player where you want the ball in his hands in big moments. But at the same time, he's not like a Damian Lillard or a Curry where you fear him as a defense. And, I mean, we've seen it. Like you said, Chris Dunn is good enough to defend those kinds of players. So if Jokic isn't going to be stacking up a bunch of assists and Jamal Murray is going to be getting this Chris Dunn matchup, there's going to have to be a big boost from somebody, whether it's Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., or Christian Braun. I know you don't like Christian Braun as much in this matchup, which I'll let you get to. I do like Michael Porter Jr. in this matchup. I think he's going to be drawing the best individual matchup for a few reasons. Because with Zubac on Jokic and then Chris Dunn on Murray, that leaves Harden, Powell, and Kawhi to guard Porter, Braun, and Gordon. I expect Harden to take Porter here, but either way, I think Kawhi has to guard Aaron Gordon. If Powell or Harden defend Aaron Gordon, you have to give the ball to Aaron Gordon as many times as possible. As much as I criticize Aaron Gordon for just like not being able to create his own offense that much, he's still strong as hell, and if you let him get a big size matchup, he's capable of taking advantage of it. You don't want to give that to him.
Yeah. And just to put it out there, that is our prediction because Kawhi hasn't played a single game this year against the Nuggets. So it's really hard to tell, but Kawhi is either going to be on MPJ or on Gordon. But we're thinking it's more so going to be Gordon here based on the size difference. MPJ, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for him to step up in big games, but he's going to have to. I don't think they have a choice.
I mean, Powell and Harden aren't going to be able to contest his shots if they're the main defender.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, especially Jokic, as much as he can go score 40, he's still going to facilitate the offense no matter what you do to some extent. So if he's not going to be able to do it to Gordon because of Kawhi, and he's not going to be able to do it to Murray because of Dunn, Michael Porter Jr. has to fill that void. And if that's his matchup, go ahead and take all the shots you want. You got the green light.
And if we look at Christian here, a lot of it comes from transition scoring, getting to the rim. But, because it's playoff basketball, there's not going to be a whole lot of transition scoring and this fast break layups. I think it's going to be very tough for him. I do think they're going to force him to shoot threes, but he's not very good at it. He's going to have to make some big threes here in this series if they want a chance to win as well. But I don't know if he pulls it off. Not for a full series. Maybe like a game or two.
Yeah, I was just going to say, outside of, obviously playoff basketball, everything slows down, refs swallow their whistle a little bit, but neither of these teams want to pick up the pace. The Denver wants to get in the half court with the ball going through Jokic. The Clippers want to get in the half court and run their pick and roll with Harden or get into those Kawhi ISOs. None of them want to be relying on their fourth and fifth guys like Chris Dunn and Christian Braun scoring in transition. If you give it to them, they'll take it, but neither of them want to be reliant on that.
Yep.
Let's get to the other side of the ball. We got the Denver defense. And the big thing that I want to talk about on the Denver defensive side is pretty much ever since early December, maybe even late November, we've seen Jokic play at the level on screens. So everybody's been criticizing Jokic because teams have been really good in the paint against the Nuggets. It's been less about Jokic not defending the rim. It's been more about him playing at the level and then the defense not rotating around him as much, because then as soon as it gets out of that double team, the offense is playing 4v3. Now, with the new coach, at least in the small sample size that we've seen, Jokic has been going back into a drop, which means in the pick and roll, if you get a good screen, which Zubac is very, very good at setting screens, you get to do whatever you want. It's uncontested shots, whether you want mid-range, whether you want a floater, whether you want a three-pointer, whether you want to charge into Jokic and get a foul, you name it. Whoever has the ball in the pick and roll gets to kind of do whatever they want. And the trade-off is that you just don't allow high-quality shots at the rim as much, at least. So that's a big thing that I think not a lot of people are going to be able to notice as much and take advantage of, since it happens so late in the season. And Harden is probably most likely to take advantage of that. The issue is, again, it's playoff Harden. So do what you will with that information.
But I do think he will be able to draw a few fouls here and there off of Christian, just because Christian is more like a handsy defender, a little feisty, kind of like TJ McConnell, but, more so like he will rack up some fouls. So I think Harden is going to try and feast in that matchup.
I don't think I like this for Norman Powell, though, if Jokic isn't dropped. Because there's no reason to swing the ball out to shooters what you're already playing 2v1 in the pick and roll once you come off that screen and Zubac is dive into the rim. Why do we need to kick it out? And if we do get it out of the pick and roll, Kawhi's been playing like prime Kawhi again. Why not just go to him?
Yeah,
so Norman
I think
Powell
if
will
they
have
ISO off the block, then they'll probably send some help, and then they'll probably create the kickouts. But outside of that, I don't think there's going to be like a ton of kickouts like he normally sees.
Yeah, I mean, Norman Powell will be Norman Powell. When you give him the chance, he'll take advantage. He's as efficient as you want your third option to be. But you're not saying, hey, Norman, go give us 30. We really need you. I don't think we're going to see much of that in this series.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we're forgetting. We touched on the defensive tendencies. The pace is going to slow down. A 7-game series. Do we think actually home court matchup is going to be huge in this one, now that I think about it, because Denver, you obviously have the mile high aspect and the altitude. And then the Clippers have been one of, if not the best home team in basketball this season since mid-November. And now with Kawhi and Harden and Zubac, when all three of those guys are on the court, especially at home, they're even better. So Nuggets are the higher seed. They do have the advantage in that regard. So that's the last important detail I think I'd mention. I would talk about coaching in terms of which team has the coaching advantage, but I think that one's pretty easy considering only one of them has been a coach for more than 5 games in the NBA. That's Ty Lue on the Clippers side. So we're going to learn a lot in this series very early. There's not going to be much we have to wait until game 3, 4, 5 before we see adjustments. I think things will come together very soon in front of our eyes in this one.
I agree.
All right, let's get to some picks. So our first pick that we are officially locking in for 1 unit is the Clippers to win the series. Like we said, it's going to be a close one. We got a battle of 2 teams that I really love. It really comes down to not one thing for me, but the biggest thing. One coach has coached for more than 5 games in the NBA. The other one has not only been to the playoffs numerous times, but has actually won an NBA championship. And 2 teams that are as close as this, with the Clippers as hot as they are, I think it's in a pick'em situation. You have to go with the Clippers here.
Yeah, and these guys are just peaking. James Harden's last 5 games is averaging almost a triple-double. Kawhi's been playing out of his mind as well. It's hard not to take the Clippers here, especially when on the other side of the Nuggets, Jamal Murray is still playing hurt with that hamstring. And I think that is going to hinder him this series as well.
And there's a reason they fired their coach, right? You don't fire a coach if you think you're going to go in and wipe the table in the playoffs. There's some issues there. None of it is going to be fixed in 3 games. Probably not. So give me the Clippers. Next up, this is where we get a little sharp. We were playing with some niche markets. Nikola Jokic scored 40 points in any game this series. He's done this in his last 4 playoff series against teams not named the Los Angeles Lakers. And with the way we talked about Zubac, likely defending him one-on-one, not as much help being brought onto Jokic as other teams do. It's very likely he just goes on a rampage one game and doesn't need to pass the ball. We know how efficient he is in his post-up. Give us 40 points in 1 game, especially if this is that close and it goes 6 or 7 games. It only gives us more games to hit this mark. So that one we put a half unit on, by the way, at plus 120. So lock in. Let's rock. Make sure you guys like, subscribe if you haven't already. This is 2 of 8 videos that we're going to make breaking down each series. So make sure you go and check the other ones out if you haven't already, and like and subscribe. And yeah, if you want to win more money, make sure you keep coming back to these videos. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.